Hello and welcome to the full service video on the E92 335i. The oil and filter will be done in my friend's workshop, and everything else, the air, cabin and spark plugs, will be done in my unit. So to check the oil level after the car's been running for a few minutes, we can scroll through here to oil, select it, and we'll get a reading. Now that was after putting 6 litres in exactly, so we can possibly put another half a litre in, which is the capacity that I've read. So before I tackle the cabin filter and the spark plugs, I'm going to get the air filter out of the way. So we've got these metal retaining clips around the sides. And the cover lifts completely out of position. They're not too bad. Give the airbox a vacuum out if you've got one handy. So giving the airbox a vacuum, got the new filter. Now they're nice and easy to fit, but always make sure that the edges are perfectly sealed. and pushed into position. Now the cabin filter is under this cover here. We've got two 8mm screws at the front and 4 at the back. Now that probably looks a bit worse than it actually is, because it looks like it might be a charcoal activated one. It's not pure white. Now I'm not going to be replacing this box immediately, because to do the spark plugs we're going to be taking this off anyway, but I'll show you how to fit the new filter. Now it's quite easy to tell the orientation of the filter, because it's got these clips on at the back and we've got these protrusions here that slot in under the housing. So push the centre down and clip the back of the filter in here, and then push the clips down. And now, rather than refitting, we can leave this off for now. Now to access the spark plugs, once we've got this cover off, we need to remove this part beneath the cabin filter housing. And we start by removing these covers at the sides. So we've got these rubber lugs that we can undo, and we've got clips holding the sides down. Same on the other side. Now remove the connector for the ambient air temperature sensor. And on the other side we've got the bonnet open switch. Now we've got an 8mm screw at each side that was concealed by this cover here. Now pull this cover out from under the housing, or you can undo the cover completely, whichever gives you more room. And under here we also need to unlatch This is a great opportunity to clean places that you wouldn't normally be able to access, which I am going to do, and also the housing for the cabin filter, give that a clean. Now for the engine cover, we've got 3 5mm hex bolts, 2 on the front and 1 at the back. Now we can remove the engine cover. Now you might be in for a little bit of a shock, as was I, as the valve covers quite commonly leak on these engines and leave oil in and around the spark plug cavities. But don't worry too much, it may not be as big an issue, and I will address this in one of my other videos. I'll replace the valve cover gasket. So to remove the coils, we've just got these plastic clips holding the connectors in, and you just lift and then push the connector out. Then we can also use this to lift the coil out of position, giving us access to the spark plug. Now you may wish to do this one by one, removing the coil and the spark plug one at a time. I'm going to replace them all in one go, but just watch your wiring if you do decide to take them all out at the same time. Now this is what I meant about the oil, but this is apparently quite common. Doesn't mean it's okay, but I'm going to address it in another video. I'm going to do the service and then address the valve cover gasket separately. Now I've already had this one out, so it will come out a lot easier than it did for me. It was pretty stiff all the way out. Let's see what number 2 is like. I've got quite a long thread, so you will be twisting for quite a while. And I'll just point out that you do need this special socket for the removal. I'll put details in the description. So this is more like the first one was, quite stiff. There's a lot of oil in that one. Due to the amount that my valve cover seems to be leaking, I'm going to leave the service at this point here, so I won't be putting the car back together with a view to replace the valve cover gasket. I'll show you how to fit one of the spark plugs and tell you the torque requirements. But at this point you should be able to refit the spark plugs and coils yourself, as it's pretty self-explanatory. Even better if you've done them one at a time, you don't mix up the wiring. But if you haven't, just watch where each of the wires is coming out of and you'll see the order. So we're inserting the new spark plug into the socket and very gently inserting, as we don't want to damage the electrodes. Hand tightening to make sure that it doesn't cross thread, so it's definitely going in straight. And the torque requirements on this are 23 Newton meters plus or minus 3. So once we're at the bottom, switch to your torque wrench, or if you don't have one, we're just tightening until just a reasonable amount. I hope this video has still helped, even though I've had to leave my car at this point. For more helpful videos on this car and many others, then please do check out my channel. Thanks for watching.